Welcome to this podcast, Married to His Will. I am Suzette Williams, your host. If this is your first time, I am so excited to welcome you to this podcast. I'm so excited that you've taken the time to listen or watch. This podcast is for inspiration and enjoyment. I also take pleasure in providing a bit of clinical information here as well, since I'm a licensed professional counselor in the state of Georgia and nationally certified. Please catch up on previous episodes where I share my testimony, especially that first episode of season 1. I want to remind you that God can deliver you out of that problem you face. He's not only interested in saving you from hell, but He cares that you thrive in Him. I'm excited about this journey and for all those who have joined me along the way, and for those who will join me next. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if you find this content enjoyable or inspiring in any way. Please read the description area for any other information that may not be stated in the video or corrections that are made. Since my divorce, I have found a new appreciation for who I am and who I'm becoming in Christ. To my future hubby, if you're listening out there, may you find me where God has positioned me to be in His presence. I am so happy He is always there, and I plan to stay married to His will. Enjoy this next episode. Hello. Hello, my great friends. I'm happy to be here once again for another episode of Married to His Will. First, I'm going to get you caught up with my life, and I'm going to dive into a new topic. So I think you all know I lost my mom recently, and I'm really trying to feel what I'm supposed to feel. I love my mom so much. I've never had the opportunity to say goodbye to someone like I did with my mom. It was quite like a holy experience, something that is hard to describe, but it was a great experience to be able to be with my mom, and great is probably not the best word, but to sit with my mom, spend time with her, share I love yous and kisses. I mean, I kept kissing her forehead and loving on her because I knew it would probably be my last time with her. And surely it was. And I was very conscious of the moment I had with her. And so I told myself, you're going to say a proper goodbye because you don't know tomorrow. And I did that. And I have to tell you, that was a very satisfying experience. However, I do find that I have very small moments of sadness, where I reflect on the fact that when I call the phone, I won't be hearing her voice. I have been thinking about listening to one of our conversations that I recorded because I felt like at that time, I knew I wanted to be able to hear her voice again. So I recorded some conversations. Some of them I'd rather not listen to because she was in pain at some points and it probably would be triggering to listen to those. I have not done it yet, but perhaps I will. I don't feel like I'm at a place where I feel deep sadness. I have not felt that yet, and don't know if I will. But again, this loss puts into perspective the value of life and the importance of cherishing the time we have with our loved ones. So there's there's sometimes a wrong way to grieve if it prolongs and you don't take care of yourself. But I feel like sometimes I don't know if I'm so sad. I feel my mom is where she needs to be with the Lord. She's out of pain, and that gives me comfort. And so I don't have a deep sadness, but when I do think about her, I miss her, and it doesn't make sense that she's gone. So in some ways, I feel like at times I'm in the stage of denial. And then at other times, I feel like just accepting. So the denial feels like a sort of disbelief that she's actually not here. It doesn't make sense to me yet. And I'm still processing that she's not here. But the other side of me knows that she's not here and has willingly accepted that she's in a place with the Lord. She lived her life well. And at the end, she suffered, but she's not suffering anymore. And I got to say my goodbyes. And that gives me peace. So where I am today, I'm back home from New York. And I miss New York, actually. I miss the Jamaican stuff I had access to. I want some banana chips. So not easy here. I think I just need to find that place. There's actually a little place I would go and get my banana chips, but I have to travel far just to get what I want. And I really want some bun and cheese because Easter is here. And you know how we love our bun and cheese in Jamaica, our Easter bun and cheese. So I'm looking forward to some of that. I'm not going to let Easter pass and not have any of that. So feeling a little a little Jamaicanism going on in my spirit, if that's such a word. Anyway, today I wanted to talk on the topic, a man chosen by God, called, tested, and set apart. That's the title. So, welcome back to this space, my friends. I have a question for you, those who are in the beauty industry. I did ask a friend once, what is the best lipstick out there? If you have a suggestion, one that's long lasting, one friend of mine told me MAC, that works, but certain seasons it may be more expensive. So, it's like, what is the best lipstick out there that will last long? Just have that question for you, my audience. So, let me know in the comments or hit me up somehow in my email or my inbox, wherever you can find me. Yeah, let me know what's the best lipstick out there and long lasting lipstick. Because mine don't last all day, never does, ever. So today's message is for those who are watching, waiting, or walking alongside a man who says he's called by God. Do you have that person in your life? Because there's a difference between a man who says he's chosen and a man who's actually being formed by God. Let's talk about it. Chosen doesn't mean perfect. A man chosen by God is not a perfect man. When we look at David, he was anointed, but he was also flawed. When we look at Moses, he was called, but he wrestled with insecurity. Even Peter, who walked with Jesus, had moments of fear and denial. Do you know such a man? An imperfect man, but a man of God? You probably know him. So being chosen doesn't mean a man won't struggle, but it does mean he won't stay the same. A man of God should be thriving in God. So what is the mark of a chosen man? The mark of a chosen man is his response to God. What separates a chosen man is not his title, it's his response. Does he humble himself when corrected? Does he seek God when no one is watching? Does he take responsibility or shift blame? A man chosen by God is not led by ego, he is led by conviction. He is willing to be processed. Before elevation, there is always a process. Joseph had dreams, but he also had the pit, the prison, and the waiting. God doesn't just choose men, he develops them. So if a man avoids accountability, correction, or growth, he may claim calling, but he's resisting the process. So be careful of that. His life produces fruit, not just words. A chosen man's life will show evidence, not perfection, but fruit. Consistency, integrity, self-control, and faithfulness. Let me tell you, that self-control one is a big one for me. You don't have to guess who he is. You can observe who he is. As scripture reminds us, you will know them by their fruit. He protects, he doesn't confuse. A man chosen by God does not leave people emotionally unstable. He doesn't send mixed signals, create cycles of confusion, draw people in and then push them away. Instead, he brings clarity, safety, and direction. Because God is not the author of confusion. Calling does not excuse toxicity. Let's be clear. A man's calling does not give him permission to be inconsistent, avoid commitment, live in cycles of dysfunction. If his behavior is toxic, unstable, or harmful, that is not God's design. And no one should feel obligated to stay connected to that in the name of purpose. I had some obligation, for 19 years. Look where I am. Grateful that I'm no longer obligated in the name of purpose. A chosen man honors alignment. A man chosen by God will value alignment. Alignment with God, alignment in values, alignment in direction, because purpose cannot thrive where there is constant tension and misalignment. Love alone is not enough, baby. There must also be order. So, for the woman watching, if you're discerning a man who says he's chosen, don't just listen to what he says. Watch how he lives. Ask yourself, do I feel peace or confusion? Is there consistency or cycles? Is he growing or repeating patterns? You're not called to fix, rescue, or wait indefinitely for potential. And for the men listening, if you believe you're chosen by God, then embrace this process. Embrace the process. Let God correct you. Let Him mature you. Let Him refine your character. Because calling without character will eventually collapse. So, in closing, a man chosen by God is not just called, he is tested, refined, submitted, and transformed. So, don't be impressed by titles, don't be moved by words alone. Look for the evidence of God's hand on a man's life and trust that God will never ask you to connect your life to something that brings confusion instead of peace. Now, if this message spoke to you, share it with someone who needs clarity and truth. And remember, God's choices are never chaotic. Stay married to His will. And that brings us to the end of today's episode of Married to His Will. Whether you're in a season of clarity or confusion, joy or surrender, I want to remind you, choosing to align with His will isn't always easy, but it's always worth it. Every step of obedience, every moment of trust is shaping you for something greater than you can imagine. Thank you for letting me be a part of your journey today. If this episode spoke to your heart, take a moment to share it with someone who might need the reminder they're not walking alone. Until next time, keep leaning in, keep showing up, and keep saying yes to the journey, even when it doesn't make sense. Because when you're married to His will, you're anchored in something eternal. Stay faithful, stay expectant, and I'll see you next time.